Park, a stunning water stage, pirate sword fights, juggling knives, mesmerizing mermaids, aerialists, and so much more under the big top tent. May 11th through the 15th at Craig Ranch Regional Park. For tickets, go to CircuitItalia.com. Get one free child's ticket with promo code CIRCUS at CircuitItalia.com.
Vegas has Italian Ice. Philly Freeze Me Italian Ice, also known as water ice, is 100% authentic Italian ice made with authentic recipes and fresh ingredients. Philly Freeze Me is also vegan. Try a single flavor or mix it up and taste test multiple flavors like watermelon and cotton candy or strawberry lemonade and mango. It can be adult friendly with alcohol-infused flavors. 2 area locations open until 8 p.m. every day. Follow Philly Freeze Me on social media at Philly Freeze Me or online at phillyfreezeme.com.
They're back by popular demand. The showroom at South Point presents the Bronx Wanderers. May 16th to the 18th. Tickets to the box office online at southpointcasino.com or charge by phone 702-797-8055. It's a musical clap with the Bronx Wanderers at the showroom at South Point.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
All right, what's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. It is Pushing the Limits. So glad you could join us on a very busy news day, a very busy Pushing the Limits day, alongside my co-host, Shuni.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Well, thank you for asking. Tired, a little itchy,
Yeah, why are you itching?
and hungry.
Didn't you just eat?
I have dry skin.
Oh,
Why?
didn't you
Dry
just
skin.
eat, though?
I did. I'm still hungry. But we got a lot to get to today. We got some very special guests joining the show coming up at the bottom of the hour. His grandfather was the governor of the great state of Nevada. Of course, I'm talking about Kenny Guinn, the late Kenny Guinn. And sadly, we got Blake Guinn in studio. His grandson's going to be coming. We're going to talk a little bit about his grandfather, talk a little about the Willow Manor group, have some fun, mix it up with him. Paul Mokeski coming up, hour number 2. We're going to talk some NBA playoffs with him. A very interesting and controversial topic I want to talk about in the NBA. It has something to do with TNT. It has something to do with Charles Barkley and Shaq and Anthony Davis. Very, very interesting. And Shaq and Charles might be in a little bit of trouble. I'll explain. And we have some audio. And we'll talk about that with Paul Mokeski. Of course, Jamie, the big story yesterday. Yes, I watched it. The CNN town hall with Donald Trump. And everything I said yesterday that I thought was going to happen happened.
You're the political whisperer.
And I said to myself, I'm not going to play a bunch of audio cuts from the town hall yesterday. I just refuse to do it because it's just spewing the BS and nonsense that Donald Trump says over and over and over again. I mean, if you really want to know what the highlights are, Trump praised the January 6th insurrectionists. In fact, he said he would pardon most of them. Some of those people, including Proud Boy members that were convicted of seditious conspiracy. Some of those people beat police officers, and Donald Trump said he's going to pardon them. He mocked the woman who he was found liable for sexual assault, called her a whack job, and attacked her personally. His attorneys can't be happy with that. By the way, people in the crowd were laughing when he was doing it.
Just get him.
Of course, he lied 7 seconds in when he was asked about the 2020 election, still refusing to admit that he lost. Blatant conspiracy theories and lies. We expect that, though, right? I mean, there were some moments that were so above the line, even for him. He refused to say whether he wanted Ukraine to win the war. He was point blank asked by Caitlin Collins, do you want Ukraine to win? Refused to say, and refused to really say anything negative about Vladimir Putin. Again, Vladimir Putin's puppet. Which is incredible. He doubled down on the Access Hollywood tapes again when he said grab women by the P word. Refused to take any sort of stance on abortion. And the lies were uncomfortably, every other word out of his mouth was a lie. Now, I said yesterday on the show that Caitlin Collins was the wrong person to be up there. Not because I don't think she's good at what she does. That's not what she does. She's a very good reporter. Now she does the morning show. I think she's a better reporter. Caitlin Collins is pretty good at what she does. And let me be very clear on this. I have no problem with CNN having Donald Trump on their platform. I don't have a problem with that. Just like I wouldn't have a problem if Fox News decided to do a Joe Biden town hall. I wouldn't have a problem with that either. In fact, I think that's a good thing. I don't have a problem with that. That's not why I'm angry at CNN or frustrated with CNN. The reason why I'm angry or frustrated with CNN, there's multiple reasons, right? There's a lot of different reasons. First of all, Caitlin Collins was the wrong person to be up there. Let me be clear. 99 out of 100 people would have a difficult situation in dealing with Donald Trump up there on a stage. Why? Because he's a narcissist. He's going to interrupt you every other word. He's not going to let you finish your question. He's going to spew lies and BS. And even if you try to interrupt him, he's going to keep talking because he's a narcissist and that's who he is. Caitlin Collins is just the wrong person. She tried to pull back. She tried to get him to stop talking, but he pretty much controlled the entire hour. There's only a few people at CNN that I think could handle Donald Trump's BS. One of them would have been Jim Acosta. Like him or hate him, he would not have put up with it. And I think Jake Tapper would have done a better job as well. He's not afraid to mix it up with people. Other than that, I just think CNN made a really bad decision in getting Caitlin Collins to go up there. So that's my number one criticism of CNN. Number two, and this is also a big one.
Wait, before you move on, who would have been a better solution?
I just told you.
Who?
I just said it.
Who was it?
I just gave you the two names.
What
You're not
was the
listening.
names? I'm doing
okay.
the social media. Sorry.
That's okay. Most people don't listen to me anyway. So
no,
okay.
I listen very intently. I'm just doing the social media. Sorry.
As I said yesterday, I said these two names yesterday: Jake Tapper and Jim Acosta. I believe those two would have done a much better job than Caitlin Collins. All due respect to Caitlin Collins, this is a very difficult thing to do, to have to stand up there with Donald Trump.
Isn't that crazy that you just said it, the names, and I forgot that quick?
That's okay.
Who are these people? Say
Okay.
their names again.
You don't know who they are, really?
No, who are they?
You don't know who Jim Acosta is?
No, who is that?
Jim Acosta is
I'm trying to Google the name. Jim who?
The main. He's been the main reporter. We'll talk about it later. But Jim Acosta is the main reporter at CNN. One of the used to be the White House correspondent reporter.
Acosta.
And
Okay.
And Jake Tapper is their lead guy.
I know who Jake Tapper is. I know
Yeah,
who that is.
yeah. So anyway, I think those two would have been better.
Oh, you saying Jim Acosta? Why are you saying his name like that?
Well, that's his name, Jim Acosta.
I don't know why. I feel like you're not saying his name correct. Say Jim Acosta.
I thought that's what I said.
You're not. Say Jim Acosta.
Did you take drugs before the show today?
No. Am I out of it?
Yeah. What are you on today?
Nothing. I just ate a hot dog.
What
What did they put in a hot? I know
He's
exactly
been
who this
saying
man
Jim
is.
Acosta the whole time.
You sound like you're saying it. He doesn't. Okay, I'm gonna just shut up.
So, okay. So let me continue. So it doesn't matter whether you dislike Jim Acosta or not, or what you think his political beliefs are, or whatever. That's not the point I'm trying to make. For those of you that are smart enough to understand what I am saying, Jim Acosta and a Jake Tapper would not put up with Donald Trump's BS, or at least their voices would reign over Trump, and they would be able to take control of that town hall. Caitlin Collins was unable to do that, and that's why she was a poor choice. She's a good reporter. She's smart. She knows her stuff, but not the right person to be up there. So that's number one. Number two, most of the people in that crowd, if not all of them, were Donald Trump supporters. That's not fair. 7 out of the 9 people that asked questions in this town hall voted for Donald Trump in 2020. That's not fair either. There should have been more independents and more Democrats in the crowd. That was not right. That was unfair. In fact, there was a moment where Donald Trump made jokes about sexual assault when E. Jean Carroll was brought up. There were people in the crowd that laughed. Is that where the Republican Party is at right now? That's what I call these people MAGAs. They laugh about sexual assault. There's nothing funny about sexual assault. 2 days ago, Donald Trump was found liable for sexual assault.
Yeah.
And there was a moment where some members in the crowd laughed. There's nothing funny about that.
I think it's very despicable that people are laughing at other people's pain. There's nothing funny about sexual assault. There's nothing funny about a person lying. There's nothing funny about an individual who's making up an entire storyline for views.
Mm-hmm.
How? Like, what if there was? I hate asking this question, but what if there was your mom? What if that was your daughter? What if that was your best friend, somebody you're close to? It's just trash.
Well, it was an embarrassment, and the clapping was an embarrassment. This is where the Republican Party is at today, I guess. So let me be clear. I don't blame CNN for wanting to put Trump on. He's a ratings getter. I get that. That's where I would agree with Donald Trump. He does get ratings. He's an entertainer. Shouldn't be a president, but he's an entertainer. I don't have a problem with CNN wanting to do that or giving, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the way they did it. There wasn't enough pushback on his lies. He was literally lying for the entire hour. Everything he said, for the most part, was a lie. He lied about the 2020 election. I believe he lied about, the sexual assault now that he is liable for. He said that he would be able to end the war in 24 hours, as if he could just press a button and the Ukraine-Russia war is over with.
Do they even like that man like that? Like, how does he believe that he can just literally snap his finger and Houdini? It's all fixed.
Because he's a narcissist. And the amazing thing is, what I thought Donald Trump was going to do, and it was even below his standards, was I thought he would be attacking the Biden administration more and talking about policy. He didn't do that. 99% of this was lying about other things, bragging about other things. He talked about drop boxes. That was a complete lie. And the election fraud, that was a lie in 2020. And then an interesting part of this whole thing was when he talked about the the classified documents that he took from the White House, which he basically admitted to. And then he said he had the right to do so, where if you actually look at the bylaws of what he can and can't do, he cannot. So his attorneys had to be squirming when he talked about these classified documents, because he basically said he took what he wanted to take and that it was perfectly legal to do so, which is a lie. Donald Trump broke the law. And then he brought up, because whataboutism is everything that Donald Trump is. He brought up Joe Biden and those classified documents. And Caitlin Collins, rightfully so, brought up the fact, and this was, I think, her best moment. She fact-checked him and brought up the fact that when Joe Biden's people found that there were classified documents in his garage, they immediately turned them over. There was no subpoena. Donald Trump and his people got a subpoena at Mar-a-Lago, and he refused to turn over documents. That is the big difference between Joe Biden and these classified documents and Donald Trump, and that is why the FBI went in there and took what they needed to take. And then Donald Trump again lied and said Obama did the same thing. He did not. That was also a lie. So not only does Donald Trump, it's one of two things. Either he's blatantly lying and he knows what the laws are, or he doesn't know what the laws are. I don't know. I mean, is he that dumb to go in a town hall yesterday and blatantly say things about the laws that are not true? I mean, I don't know. What is it? I don't know.
Brian, what do you think he gains from this?
I don't think Donald Trump gained anything. And here's what I mean by that. His supporters are still going to be his supporters. Like I said before, if Donald Trump sexually assaulted a woman on live TV, these people would still vote for him. What Donald Trump needed to do, and he didn't do, was gain new voters, get independents, get people on the left. And Donald Trump was the same old Donald Trump, the narcissistic pig that he is, the lies that he spewed. He didn't get any new voters. If anybody gained from this, if you ask me, it's Joe Biden. He didn't gain any new voters here. He wasn't trashing Joe Biden. He wasn't talking about Joe Biden's policies that he thinks were failed policies. He didn't do any of that stuff, really.
Let me ask you
So
this.
I don't think he gained anything by doing this, to be honest with you.
I understand that you're not a true Joe Biden supporter, and you're absolutely not a Donald Trump supporter. But Donald Trump did state yesterday in his town hall that he believes if he doesn't win the presidency, that the country's going to fail. Do you know why he believes that?
Well, yeah, the same reason why he claims he believes that he won the 2020 election, because all he cares about is himself. All he cares about is winning. All he cares about is becoming president again. And they did the same thing with Barack Obama. Republicans said the sky was falling and everything was going to end. Joe Biden is certainly not a perfect president, and there are improvements that could be made. And as I've said before, I don't want Joe Biden to run again in 2024, but the sky is not falling, and Donald Trump is not our Lord and Savior. So Donald Trump will do and say anything to get back in the White House. It's not going to happen. I don't believe Donald Trump is going to win re-election, and he might be a convicted felon before the election. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I want to open up the phone lines, and I want to see what you guys think about yesterday. We have a little bit of time to take calls, and I'll open up the phone lines now. The number to call is 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you want to be a part of the conversation, we are going to take some phone calls right now. Do you agree or disagree with my assessment on the CNN town hall yesterday? I thought it was a joke more for CNN than anything else. Again, that number is 702-221-7283. Let's go to Johnny. I believe Johnny is first up on Pushing the Limits. Hi, Johnny.
Good afternoon, Brian. What I would really like to know is, would any Republicans out there, would they call now and please give an intelligent explanation on why the audience applauded him last night on some of his comments? Because I didn't think any of it warranted applause and laughing. It was ridiculous what I heard.
Well, I agree with you. And I think that the reason why people like that clap is because they're despicable human beings, like Donald Trump. If you're a bad person and you think sexual assault is a joke, you're going to laugh and you're going to clap. If you're a bad person and you think January 6th was a tourist visit and it was a joke, you're going to clap and you're going to laugh. If you're a bad person and you think lying and being the president of the United States or running for the presidency and lying and calling somebody nasty and despicable is funny, then you're going to clap. So there's your answer. There are very few good Republicans out there today. There are many that still support Donald Trump. And again, I go back to what I said earlier, Johnny, is that, and I personally believe this, I believe if Donald Trump sexually assaulted a woman on live TV, I do believe that some of the people in that crowd at that town hall would still vote for him. I believe there's a percentage of Republicans that would still vote for Donald Trump because they just don't care.
Right. You're right. And another thing, too, is this is a guy that's running for president, but he's also saying that if he feels that the elections are on the up and up, if he really won or lost, how in the hell can you run for believe in the election system and want to run for president, but you're also telling people that the elections are possibly rigged? I mean, he's talking to dummies and they believe him.
I agree again with you, Johnny. He is. And I appreciate the phone call, Johnny. Very good to hear from you. Okay.
Thanks,
Johnny. Call back again. I appreciate you, my man.
All right. Good show, guys.
Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate that. The bottom line is this, and I would have challenged Donald Trump by saying this. Before the 2006, and by the way, the number to call, 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you want to be a part of the conversation, 702-221-7283. I would have said, Mr. President, before the 2016 election, you were talking about how the elections are rigged. Then you won. Why is it for the next 3 years we didn't hear you say elections are rigged? Why is that, Mr. President? And then all of a sudden you lose in 2020, and then all of a sudden elections are rigged again. Could it be possible, Mr. President, that elections are only rigged if you lose, and if you win, it was legitimate? 702-221-7283. Let's go to Justin. Justin is next on Pushing Limits. What's up, Justin?
Hey, man, how's it going?
Good. What's on your mind?
I watched that quote-unquote town hall or disaster or whatever you want to call it, and yes, Caitlyn did get a little bit steamrolled and everything, but if you watch the after show, though, it took me the whole, show to, watch, the actual town hall, and then to see the black woman attorney pointed out something I started thinking there at the end. They were giving him enough rope to hang himself. And she was like, if I'm the DA in New York and Georgia and all this, I'm like licking my chops basically, or I think that maybe rubbing her fingers together and all this, just salivating at everything he's saying that's going to get used against him now in court.
So that's a good point. I don't know, Justin, if that was intentional or not, but I take your point. All I'm simply saying is this. You can give him enough rope to hang himself, but don't let him dominate the interview and don't let him talk over you constantly. Like example, when you start talking over me, Mr. President, stop. And eventually he's going to stop and say, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask a question and you're going to answer the question. Due to time constraints, I might have to interrupt you. You can't keep talking over me. And if you say something that is not true, I am going to interject because I'm the moderator. And that's what we're going to do here. Do you understand that, Mr. President? That you have to do that early. And she didn't do that. She just let him continue with his tricks. And listen, it's a very difficult job that she had last night. I'm not saying it was easy. All I'm simply saying is someone else needed to be up there to do it. And to me, a Jim Acosta would have been able to do a better job. That's all.
Either way, though, I think it's going to come out to bite him in the end. So we'll see what happens.
It very well
Hopefully
might.
it does.
It very well might, and you might be right. And I hear what you're saying, and there's no question you're right. I don't know if CNN did that intentionally, but you're right. Donald Trump cannot contain himself. He made it worse for himself with the Jean Carroll case. If they're trying to get another case here, and they're trying to amend the $5 million. He certainly didn't help himself yesterday. He made the situation worse. Let's also keep in mind the January 6th insurrection, the comments he made. He didn't think, he said yesterday, if you remember, Justin, he said yesterday on stage that he didn't think he put Mike Pence in harm's way when people were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." He wouldn't apologize to Mike Pence.
Oh, exactly. They did give him opportunities to apologize for certain things, and he wouldn't do it because that's what a narcissist does, you know.
You know what's interesting too, Justin, and you're right.
Yes,
when they asked him about the 2020 election, he didn't even have to admit that he lost, which he should have, but he didn't even have to say it. All he had to say was, and he probably would have won some people over if he said, "I'm not focused on the past anymore. I'm focused on the future." That's all he had to say.
Exactly. And I think the previous caller said something about that as well. It's like he just can't let go or whatever. It's just ridiculous.
It is, Justin. Good to hear from you, my friend. I appreciate the phone call, okay?
Justin.
Have a good weekend.
Okay, have a good one.
Thank you, sir. 702-221-7283. And again, that number, if you want to be a part of the conversation, 702-221-7283. This is what Ocasio-Cortez had to say. And I know there's a lot of people out there that probably don't like Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. I don't always agree with her, but I do have respect for her. And she had some criticisms for CNN, and she actually said it best. She made an appearance on MSNBC. And by the way, MSNBC was really harsh on CNN last night. I believe it was warranted. Here's what Ocasio-Cortez had to say about this whole thing.
Sexual abuse victim at risk, that put that person at risk in front of a national audience, and I could not have disagreed with it more. It was shameful.
All right, so here's where I disagree with Ocasio-Cortez. I agree with some of what she said. I wish Ocasio-Cortez would make appearances on Fox News or Newsmax, because I personally believe if you want to win voters on the other side, you have to take those risks. I don't blame CNN for giving Donald Trump a platform. That's where I disagree with her. I agree that CNN didn't handle it the right way. They gave him too much time to lie, and there wasn't enough pushback. And some of the other criticisms I had earlier this segment. But I agree. I disagree with AOC. She should. Democrats and liberals should make appearances on Fox News and Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham, or when Tucker Carlson was on the air. Just like I want to see hardcore righties go on CNN or MSNBC. I think it's good for both parties. I think it's good for networks. I think it's good for the people. Just because you have a certain ideology doesn't mean you shouldn't want to listen to somebody else with another ideology and challenge them. Right. I try to do that on this show. And, right-wing echo chamber radio doesn't do that. Some of the clowns that are in this town don't do that are on the right. All they do is they interview Republicans, people that agree with them on everything. I interview more Republicans than Democrats on this show. But I disagree with Ocasio-Cortez as far as, you don't want to give Trump a platform. Go ahead and give him a platform and let him hang himself with his own rope, but push back on his lies. Right. Caitlin Collins tried to do that. She tried to fact check him, but his voice was over hers. Cut his mic. When the moderator jumps in and says something is a lie, cut his mic, and if he doesn't like it, he can walk off the stage.
Right.
That's what should have happened yesterday. Instead, when he says lies about the 2020 election and Caitlin Collins says, Mr. President, you got to stop saying that. You can't keep saying that the whole show. Well, guess what? He did.
Right.
He said it for the whole show. That can't happen. And that's my biggest criticism with CNN. I agree with some of what AOC said, but I think where AOC is wrong, and I think where Hillary Clinton ran a really bad campaign, is that she wasn't willing going on other shows that might give her some pushback.
So, Brian, you talk about how you want, Jim Acosta and Jake Tapper to be the ones who will come in and do this interview and moderate over who was actually there. However, Donald Trump has had several different interviews with many different moderators. Do you think anybody has ever done a good job of actually controlling Donald Trump? So far, of all the interviews he's had, most of the
town halls and most of the interviews that he's done, certainly in the last several years, are from Republicans. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about people that are going to give him pushback. Obviously, no Republican moderating anything is going to give him any pushback.
And they haven't had many people who've done it.
Right. But I'm.
So what do you expect?
Well, what I expect is CNN and the executives there to make the professional decision to put somebody else up there that will not put up with his BS. Mm-hmm. That's what I expect. Mm-hmm. It's also interesting that Trump has called CNN fake news, fake news, fake news. He's been attacking CNN for 6 years, but then all of a sudden he accepts an invitation to do a town hall. I also find that very interesting because Donald Trump is obviously the biggest hypocrite you can ever find. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, and I want to have a good discussion with a guy whose grandfather is the former governor of the great state of Nevada. Of course, his grandfather, the late, great Kenny Guinn. And we're going to be speaking next to Blake Guinn. We're going to talk a little real estate with him. We're going to talk a little bit about his grandfather and get into a lot of different topics with him. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this with Blake. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Guinn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well. So I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Guinn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines beware. Go Bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. Guests can purchase affordable day bed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though? Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now For more info, visit sapphirepoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hey, everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement, and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
STN Sports is the only sports betting app you need this season. STN Sports has it all. In-play betting, mobile parlay cards, the Play Plus card to fund and withdraw from anywhere in Nevada, and the latest lines on every game. STN Sports even lets you earn rewards on every bet. Safe and easy betting from your phone or tablet. Go to stationcasinosports.com or sign up at any Station Casino, Fiesta Wildfire, or the El Cortez. Details at the sportsbooks.
All right, welcome back. It's Pushing the Limits on a Thursday. Thank you for joining us. Quick reminder, tomorrow we are broadcasting live from the Sapphire Gentlemen's Club Topless Pool. It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it. I heard a rumor that Chris Wynn will be topless tomorrow, ladies, so you definitely want to show up for that. We have some you want to talk about an eccentric group of people.
Ew!
An eccentric group of people tomorrow, starting with porn legend. I know Chris is a big fan. Evan Stone is going to be joining us tomorrow at the pool, as well as from Guns N' Roses, DJ Ashba, extremely talented musician, so I can't wait to talk to him. I've actually never had him on the show before, so I'm really excited to have him on tomorrow. John DiDomenico, probably world's best Trump impersonator, will be there as well. Great comedian. He really is great. Brett Raymer from the hit reality TV show Tank will be there. UNLV legend and NBA veteran Marcus Banks will be there. So we got former NBA players, we've got actors, we got comedians, we've got porn stars, we've got musicians. So a very great group, eccentric group. And let's not forget Mac Miller will be there as well. We can't. How can we not forget about him? I don't know if the guy we have with us in studio right now will be there. I've given him an open invitation. I don't know if his wife will let him go. Of course, I'm talking about Blake Guinn. Of course, his grandfather, Kenny Guinn, legendary governor. Probably the last. I thought Sandoval was a pretty good governor too. I'll be honest, but obviously your grandfather was a great governor, and you're doing. I know your grandpa, I'm sure, would be very proud of you with what you're doing at Willow Manor Group. A very successful man yourself. And Blake, good to have you here, my friend.
Hey,
how are you?
Long time no see. Felt like we just hung out last night.
Yes.
Did we?
I think we did.
Where were we, Blake?
I don't
Where
know.
were
I
we?
feel like Brian and I came into third in the trivia night.
Oh,
We
at
did.
my trivia
At
night.
your trivia
at
night.
TGI Fridays.
Why? So you come up here, and I feel bad for you because you look very banged up. You've got this thing on your shoulder. What would you call that? A shoulder harness?
Yeah, so I've got two
Were you
harnesses.
hang gliding or something? Are you a UFC fighter? What were you doing?
So I actually got in a fight with my daughter's pet lizard who was high on Botox. No, the sad reality is I'm just a clumsy person. I tripped over a dog and
You tripped over your dog?
Yeah.
That's sad. Oh,
I know.
man.
What? I know.
Is the dog okay?
No, it's up for adoption.
So let me
Wow,
ask you
Blake.
this. How do you, when I hear about somebody that tripped over their dog, unless you're like 80 years old, I say, because you're a young man, you're in good shape, how do you break your shoulder? Like, you have to land really hard for that to happen.
You know, I had a baby monitor in one hand. I had my cup of water in the other, and it was just quick trip. Yeah, so I literally just left the orthopedic surgeon to make it her.
Are you, be honest, are you soft like Anthony Davis?
Can you say that on radio?
Yeah, I can actually.
No, I did not get a concussion. Have to be out on a wheelchair. I'm not that soft.
All right.
Didn't you just say you were soft 2
Well,
seconds ago and emotional?
I am emotionally soft. It's okay.
Listen,
I'm sorry
speaking
for what
truth on the radio.
I'm sorry that it sucks because it's bad timing because I know you got a charity golf event that's coming up in a couple weeks. So
We do.
You can putt though.
I could probably putt, but I'm glad that you'll be taking my spot in
That'll be fun.
the Southern Nevada Sports Hall of Fame.
That's going to be fun.
Which is inducting my grandfather into that. So
That's awesome.
I hope to be driving in a golf cart behind you, blasting some music and having a beer.
Yes.
Nice.
Let's talk about your grandfather for a moment.
Sure.
And I wish he was still here. You know, I'm
Same.
really sorry. A horrible accident that he had with a ladder, right? Just a shocking and a terrible. You know, that's why I always tell people, and you know, it's just true. It doesn't matter who you are, unless you're a professional. You shouldn't be up on a ladder doing stuff like that. You know, of course, you never expect an accident like that was going to happen. How old was your grandfather when that happened?
So my grandfather, I believe, was 72 or 73.
Still a fairly young man. You know, still had years ahead of him, right? In pretty good.
Tons of years.
Yeah,
he was still on the MGM board. You know, him and my grandmother were, you know, essentially just living life. You know, they were done with the governorship, doing a couple boards here and there, and just really just enjoying the twilight years. Came home, and the man he was a machine. He got dressed the same way every single day. Dress shoes, slacks, white undershirt until he put on his, you know, button up and went out. And that's how he did yard work. And unfortunately, there were some pine needles out because their house was in Old Vegas.
Right.
And he just, if things need to get done, he did it. And
did he fall on his head? Like, how do you?
Yeah, so there's different, like, I guess, theories about how it happened, but essentially he slipped on a tile and he fell. So
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
It was a rough day for the family, but I believe for the state. I mean, that man gave his entire heart and everything to the people of Nevada. I mean, you look at the Millennium Scholarship, trying to keep the talent here in state rather than having it go elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just everything that he did was all.
And you know
about
what's amazing? Because like I hear a lot of people say a lot of bad things about the former governor Sisolak and even Joe Lombardo. I don't have some nice things to say about him. I have some nice things and some not so nice things. Even going back to Sandoval, I thought Brian Sandoval was a pretty darn good governor. He was able to work with Democrats, but I still hear people saying some things about him. Nobody's ever going to be happy. I've never heard anybody say anything really bad about your grandpa. I never have. I never have.
Nor have I. They probably wouldn't say it to my face because I'll sick Jamie on him. But
why would you sick me on him?
But honestly, he was my favorite quote from my grandfather, and it's something I try to live by, is that, you know, I don't wear an R on my hat for Republican, and I don't wear a D on my hat for Democrat. I wear a P for the people, and that's how he governed. It was never a hardline Republican stance, and never a hardline Democrat stance. It literally was. It was a bipartisan view on how to get things done. And really, it hadn't been done in the state in a very, very long time.
And
he was the first Republican governor in almost 17 years.
Yeah. Guess what? It's not being done much now either. And in general terms, I would say, do you think there should be a fourth party, a fifth party? Do you feel like we're so divided now that maybe there should be some sort of middle ground? And I know, listen, I remember the days of Ralph Nader, right? I remember we're never going to get somebody like that to win the presidency. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
But maybe in these smaller elections, it could.
You know, I think there's a place for a third party, but I also think at this point if you talk about national politics, a third party is a non-vote.
Right.
Right. And all it's doing is showing the party that you're just not voting, and it doesn't matter to them. Locally, it could matter because you're dealing with such a smaller voting base. So, yeah, I don't really have a home in either party. And you know, I wish there was a group that represented, I believe, what is now a majority of people that are out there, especially here in Las Vegas.
You know, after the Trump town hall, we don't need to get into that. I got into it already. But after the Trump town hall, I had a lot of people that called me last night. And one of them, and I don't think she'd mind me saying this because we're friends, is the former Republican chair, Amy Tarkanian. She gave me a call yesterday, and I do too. I think she's a very nice person. And even though I don't agree with her on some of her political stances, I believe she did something that not many politicians do. Mitt Romney has done it. Liz Cheney has done it. Adam Kinzinger has done it. There are some Republicans nationally that have done it. Not many, and not many locally. But Amy Tarkanian was never a Michelle Fiore fan, as I'm not either. I think she's despicable. That's just my opinion. And Amy Tarkanian did not support her campaign in 2022. She supported a Democrat. And I said, good for her. You know, you shouldn't have to support somebody just because they're in your party. And Amy took so much crap for doing that. And I thought it took a little bit of courage for her to do that. And I respect her, and I respect good people. Just because I don't agree with all of their political beliefs doesn't mean I would never vote for them. And I can tell you right now, if Amy Tarkanian ran for office, unless she was running against a Democrat that I really supported and really liked, and I told her this today, I said, if you run, I'm going to support you. You know,
That's
I'm going
great.
to support you because that's how I vote. Not necessarily whether I agree or disagree on all of your policies. Are you a decent human being? And I think we've lost that in politics. What do you think your grandfather would say about that today?
I think he would actually side with you. I try not to get too deep into politics, especially within my business. But what I can tell you is I strayed from the party line this past ticket. There was somebody at the state level who continues to make sure that the Millennium Scholarship is a priority, that it's funded. Right? And again, the Millennium Scholarship is if you graduate from a Nevada high school with a B average, the state gives you a scholarship for an in-state tuition.
Nice.
And I love that. And there was a person that has made it his almost sole purpose to reach out to the family to make sure that there's money in that. I voted for him, right? There was another person that represents my district who every single time I've needed something from the governor's office, he gets it done for me. And so I don't think it always has to be you have to vote for R or you have to vote for a D, or you don't have to always vote for party lines. You should vote for your best interest. And I think we were talked about it the other day, is that's what a lot of people do. They continue to vote for their same party and go, why is the outcome not different? Right? Because you guys continue to vote for the same things over and over. Right? It's insanity.
Yeah.
It's a broken system.
It
And
is.
It's a vicious circle that
It
we are
is,
stuck in.
and I think it's as bad now as it's been in our lifetime.
Sure.
As far as division, we can talk about racial division. We can talk about political division on very important issues. We are very divided right now. I think there are a lot of different reasons why, but we need more people like your grandfather, and that's why I brought up your grandpa, because we need more people that are more middle grounded, that are willing to work with the other side. We have some people that are like that, but not a lot, a lot, and I think that's the issue.
One of my favorite things to do is at night is go kind of explore some of the legislative bills.
I thought you were going to say something else. I'm sorry.
Brian.
My favorite thing to do at night. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So one of my favorite things to do, especially during the legislative session,
Is not trip over your dog.
Is not trip over my dogs. That would be the first one. Is finding some of these insane bills that we're passing. Did you just see the newest one that the governor's going to pass? That organ donors, so they cannot be discriminated against. If you're an organ donor, did you know that you're discriminated against?
What?
Yeah, nor did I. That's a new one. But then we go through and we go through property rights. So if you're on septic,
Wait, hold on a second. I have a heart attack or whatever, and I need a new heart. Okay. Oh, don't give me that black heart. I want that white heart. Are people really? Are people really that insane?
Don't be soft.
Hey, I need a new kidney.
I'll be honest.
Don't give me an Asian kidney. I want a white kidney. Are people do we have that many idiots in society?
Those are
Oh
the
my
type
God.
of bills that currently right now both sides are pushing through. And I look at that and I'm going, okay, well, it's a smaller bill, but it was AB 220, and it's all about septic tanks, right? And so really it was a water conservation thing. Essentially, they're saying 15,000 people should now have to connect from septic to municipal sewer because of the water reclamation, which really in the grand scheme of things is a sneeze at Lake Mead. That's how much water they'd really reclaim.
Yeah.
And so in doing so, these people who have decided to live, say in rural or out in old North Las Vegas where it's horse country, now our state government is going to force additional taxes on these people to go and connect to the sewer, to the municipal. So the cost is going to be upwards in the millions, and even for a community that has like 60 to 80 homes, they're going to put a new special improvement tax on them. And so we're more worried about discriminating against organ donors than we are about property rights right now. And that to me is a major issue that I'm seeing in the current legislation. That's my issue. And so when I take a look at the landscape, I'm going, who's voting for these silly little bills and who's voting against homeowner rights?
Blake, you're very informed in politics, and I can tell that you're a very smart man. And
I can't tell that. I don't know what you're. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I'm just kidding.
And again, my condolences to your late grandfather.
Oh, thanks.
However, have you been given the tick from other people in your family to follow after his footsteps? You know a lot about politics. You're in tune with a lot of people in the city of Las Vegas.
Sure.
But have you ever wanted to just take over his power and be in his seat?
Okay, so One, I will never be the fifth of that what that man was.
Okay.
He was so brilliant and just a man that I could only strive and hope to be a fifth of. I love politics so much, and my family, I think, is kind of a little jaded on it. Right now, like my wife is like, you are not running. And I get it, because let's say I run as a Republican or a Democrat or independent. It's so divided right now. They don't come after my ideas. They come after you as a person.
Yeah, it's so
and they don't
stupid.
stop there. They go after
Your
your
family,
your kids,
Right.
your parents, anybody in
Your
there.
broken arm.
My broken arm, right?
You're right.
Lizard that's on Botox. You know, I mean, you look at it, and it's so divided. And so
I don't know what you're talking about. I've
why
never
would
said anything negative about Donald Trump's kids. I don't know what you're
But, like,
talking about.
The average citizen that actually wants to step into politics to truly make a difference, one, cannot get the fundraising because the other side will bleed them dry with false allegations. And so your average person cannot get into politics to actually make a difference. And that's wrong with the system.
Let me ask you this. What do you think a person needs to have as in resources to be a mayor of Las Vegas or even a governor?
Oh, well, governor, you should definitely, even with a mayor, you should have a business background. I mean, and so with my grandfather, school superintendent, president of Primary Bank, CEO of Southwest Gas. He was president of the university for 1 year, donated his entire salary to female athletic scholarship.
Jeez.
Like that right there, that's a business leader. That's who should be running the state because they understand budgets. And when you're the governor, it's all about budgets.
Absolutely.
Same with the mayor, right? I think Victoria Seaman is going to be a great candidate. I think Shelley Berkeley would be a good candidate too. I'm excited to see both of their views on how they're really going to grow because, right, we got the A's coming here. In the next 4 to 5 years, this city's not going to be what it is today. I mean, so we got to put the right leaders in place.
I'm with you 100%. If you're just joining us in studio, he's Blake Guinn, of course, his grandfather, great governor, late, great Mr. Governor Guinn. Is that what you called him, Governor Guinn, or did you say just Grandpa?
I was just Grandpa.
I like that.
It was just Grandpa.
Yeah, no, he was great. So Blake is a part of Willow, the Willow Manor group, and a quick story I want to tell you is that I met Blake. He was an avid fan of my show for how many years now? I don't
6
know.
years. I've been
You've been
listening
for a long time, and I met you, and after the loss of my sister, my parents, I kind of convinced them to move out here, and you've been nothing but fantastic in trying to help and work to get my parents and find them a home out there. And I just can't say enough great things about you and the people that work for you, that are people that are underneath you, that work within your group, that have been talking to my mom, and she has nothing but nice things to say about how personable you guys are and how helpful you've been with them. And you put them first. Obviously, it's a business. I get that. But you put the people first. You want to know what's their bankroll, what's the budget, what can they afford, what type of area do you want, and it just really, your group and what you've done, really awesome. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about that, but it's amazing. I moved here 20 years ago. Everything was so cheap.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how the market has changed just over the last 5 years, let alone over the last 20 years, right?
And it's shifting yet again. So, I remember my wife and I bought our first house in 2014, and it was a fully remodeled house. It was $195,000. I mean, you can't find that now. That's not even a condo.
Yeah.
And so there was a bunch of different things that happened in 2020 that kind of led to, you had the pandemic, and then you had super low interest rates, and money was dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And you had everybody that were leaving California. Almost 50% of the people that moved here from California. It's like 250,000 or some odd people. And so there was no inventory. Boom. Everybody ran for crazy. It was a seller's market. You could say you're whatever price and people were overpaying. Now we're in a totally different market where money is not free. Interest rates have gone up. They're still almost at a historic low. But the problem is if you bought in the past 3 years, you might be underwater because you may have overpaid for your property. And the people that would want to be selling right now, they might be like me, where they have a 2.8% interest rate. And so they're like, I don't want to go up and move higher. And so what we're seeing right now is that inventory is continuing to shrink while interest rates are kind of stabilizing right now. I think they went down, I believe, last week. But now you're starting to see inventory shrinking. And so what does that mean? So September of last year, we were at the height of what we had. It was 9,900 single-family homes. We're currently sitting on 3,600. Why that's important is because as that number continues to shrink, that means less and less inventory, which means more demand, which means higher pricing. There was a report in the RJ just this week that home prices from this month to last month are already up almost 1% to 2%.
Wow.
So if that trend continues, you could potentially see a seller's market midsummer. Why it's important to work with a realtor is knowing how to navigate those obstacles, knowing where the market is. Is it acceptable where we can offer maybe above list to get seller concessions to help buy down that rate, or even say, hey, we can help out with your closing costs. But it's working with a professional that knows the market and knows the intricacies of where we're going in this inventory issue. Yeah. It's really, really important to work.
So if somebody decides to contact you and say they heard you on Pushing the Limits, can you offer them a free home?
All right, so.
Free home, I wish.
So I can't offer a free home.
Can I get one?
Maybe.
I'll take a studio. Can you offer a free studio?
Free studio, you got it. So for right now, I am doing a Pushing the Limits radio special. So if anybody out there is hearing me, again, my name is Blake Guinn. I'm with Willow Manor, 702-540-3311. If you mention Pushing the Limits radio show right now, upon successful closing of your purchase or sale, I'm doing $1,000 cash back.
Wow. That's pretty. Give out that number again.
Yeah, so that's Blake Guinn with Willow Manor. That's 702-540-3311. We're doing $1,000 cash back upon successful closing if you mention Pushing the Limits.
How about that, man? Save $1,000. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of Caveman Keno money for Chris Wynn. Let me tell you, man. So there you go. Blake, of course, very generous of him. Give him a call. 702-540-3311. You get $1,000 cash back. I like the ring to that. It sounds like you're buying a new car or something,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
$1,000 cash back. No, I like that. That's a very,
It can
very...
go a long way, especially
Yeah.
with repairs, home warranty.
Absolutely.
There's a bunch that it could really benefit.
So, Blake, you made a great comment about how we need to trust our real estate agents who are going to help us get these condos, houses, and many different properties. Can you explain to us how we can trust people like you? I've been in situations where I've trusted a lot of condo individuals and real estate agents, and you see my situations. So
I do.
let us know how we could trust somebody like you.
You know, so one, it's the track record, right? And so I've been in the real estate industry since 2006. I actually started off as a receptionist for my mother, who was a title and escrow officer. And so I learned from the ground up on what title and escrow was. And then I became a sales rep. And so I've been enthralled in the real estate industry, and I've seen the highs and lows. And so really it's looking at how does your realtor respond in communication. I think communication's one of the key things, but it's also their track record. Do they have a proven system to help you in getting results? And I think that is vital. And it's also important to be able to sit down with somebody and go, what are your needs? And we do a buyer consultation with every single person. So I need to know what your needs are immediately, and then I set full expectations. And I think it's proper for you to set proper expectations to me and me to you. And then we build this partnership, and it's a relationship where I hold your hand and I walk you through the entire process. Because it's not just you sign your name on a contract and then 30 days later you are closed and you have a home. You have contingencies. You have an inspection period. You might be in an HOA, and there's laws on how to review those documents. Mm-hmm. You might have an appraisal if you're getting a loan, and what happens if it comes in high, or what happens if it comes in low. If it comes in low, you got to renegotiate the offer. Then you also have to deal with, hopefully a buyer can actually get approved for their loan. So there's all of these different aspects that go into within a 30 to 35 day transaction close, that you need somebody who knows what they're doing and is willing to hold your hand and communicate the good and the bad.
I have to say, the most impressive thing of many things that you've said is you will hold their hand. My dates don't even hold my hand, so that's like...
I felt like we held hands last night.
We did.
As we came into third.
Night?
As we came into third.
I'm so uncomfortable right now.
I want to say
Wait,
this.
did you hold his broken hand, or is...
I want to hold the good one.
I want to say this, though, because I think this is really important. You're not somebody who just moved here a year ago. Blake is born and raised in Las Vegas. And if I'm going to buy a home here, or I'm going to give anybody my business here, when it involves neighborhoods and anything along the lines of that, I want somebody who knows Las Vegas inside and out. You've lived here your whole life.
And my family moved here in the early 60s. My grandfather had a huge helping hand in grow the city, right? This is the only place I've really known. I'm probably one of the very few native, born and raised here, Las Vegans. My wife is born and raised here in Las Vegas. My kids, we're growing a family here. And so when you're talking about a true Las Vegas family, that's me.
Yeah, I think that's really important, because you have a lot of people that I'm even going to use radio to correlate this. I've worked for some stations here in Las Vegas. You'll probably know which stations they are.
Sure.
Where I've worked for program directors and I've worked for people who run radio stations, and still do, some of them, by the way, who come to this town and think they know what Vegas people want to hear on the radio. They come to this town and they think they know everything about Las Vegas, when in truth they run the station into the ground and they don't know what they're doing. And I think it's the same thing with real estate, where some people will come to town and they think they know what the good areas are. They think they know what the bad areas are. They think they know what that customer may or may not want. And they have no idea, right? They have no idea. And that's what's unfortunate. You have to talk to people, especially when you're buying homes, for crying out loud. You have to talk to people that know the city inside and out. That's so important, so important. And listen, there are good areas and bad areas in Las Vegas. Some homes you might find cheaper in some areas than other areas, right? If it's a new neighborhood in Summerlin, it's obviously going to be more expensive than in a really old neighborhood in deep Henderson, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
That's the misconception, right? Everybody thinks, oh, Henderson's safe, everything's great. No, there are really beautiful parts to Henderson.
Right.
And there are really nasty parts.
It was just ranked one of the 3rd safest cities in all of, I believe, the U.S.
Wow, Henderson?
Yeah, but have you driven out there? There's like a cop on every corner.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of police out there.
Do not speed in Henderson,
Yep.
Jamie.
Wow.
What would you say are the highest priced homes and like the Beverly Hills of Las Vegas? Where would that be?
All right, so the newest Beverly Hills is going to be the Summit. That's where all your casino moguls, Mark Wahlberg is all there. It is this ultra exclusive club. It's right across the street from Sienna Golf Club.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is going to be your bells and whistles. That is super exclusive. You're talking, I believe a track home in there is about $7 million.
Wow.
Mark Davis sold, he had one of the first penthouses in their condos there. I think it just sold for $14.5 million.
Oh.
And then from there, it's really, you've got Ascaya, you've got the Ridges. And so you've got some of these really amazing pockets of high-end luxury homes that just haven't been here in the past. Up until, I'd probably say, really the past 10 years, the luxury market's really grown because we've got such low taxes here, and it's such a business-friendly state that a majority of people know that, and they're moving here.
Yeah. How'd you like your neighbor to be Mark Wahlberg? That'd be somewhat interesting.
That'd be really cool.
That's Summit's a beautiful golf course out there too. I was amazed by. It's almost like you're living in like the Grand Canyons. I mean, the view, the mountains. It's really incredible. Well, Blake, before I let you go, and I appreciate you being here, and I hope your shoulder gets better, my friend.
Thanks, guys.
And you have a beautiful family.
Thank you.
I wanted to give out that information again. So this is pretty cool. If you call Blake with his business, of course, Willow Manor Group, you're going to get, if you mention the name of this show, Pushing the Limits, you're going to get $1,000 cash back. His number is 702-540-3311, but I want you to give out the information again before we go.
Absolutely. So again, guys, my name is Blake Guinn. I thank you very much for being on the show. Our real estate firm is Willow Manor. We're powered by Keller Williams, the marketplace. Right now, we're running a Pushing the Limits special. If you call me and you mention Pushing the Limits upon successful closing of a purchase or sale, there's $1,000 cash back.
I love it. I love it. And Blake is a good friend and a good dude. And
he supported me last night with you.
That's
Brian.
right. That's
a real
right.
good dude.
Yeah, Blake's a good guy, and
I almost thought you guys were gonna lose. You guys stopped paying attention because somebody would blame it on Brian.
Oh, Brian.
Well,
and other Brian. Feldman.
And other Brian.
Well, Blake is going to be back, and when he does come back, I think we're going to have a very big announcement about a couple charity events he's got going, including a charity poker tournament that I can't wait to be involved in. It involves someone who is the founder of eBay. So we're gonna be talking about that next. Can't wait. Blake will be on our show again very soon in a couple weeks, and you're more than welcome to come to Sapphire tomorrow, my friend.
If I can clear out my schedule, it is swamped tomorrow. I will do it.
You're gonna get sympathy from the ladies with the shoulder issue. I'm telling you.
My wife might be watching.
She might be. That's true.
His wife wants to hear that.
That's true. Well, men could be giving you massages. Chris Wynn.
I think that's
Chris Wynn. I'll take a Chris Wynn massage.
Blake,
Blake, you are the best, my man.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
You're a good friend, and thank you so much for being here, and we'll have you on the show again very
great.
soon. That's Blake Guinn, everybody, from Willow Manor Group. Please give him a call, 702-540-3311 to get that $1,000 cashback offer. That's pretty darn cool. All right, coming up next, the 7-footer who knows a thing or two about getting injured on the basketball court, Big Mo, also known as Paul Mokeski. He's going to be joining us next. We'll take a quick break. Hopefully he'll sign a card for me when we come back. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Guinn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well. So I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Guinn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines beware. Go Bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. Guests can purchase affordable day bed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though? Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now. For more info, visit sapphirepoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
The Farmer's Burger from Farmer Boys. Beef, bacon, cheese, hand-smashed avocado, and fresh veggies. Best burger champ. That's how we drop the mic. Farmer Boys. Farm food ain't fast food. Farmer Boys' new always crispy fries stay crispier and tastier all the way home. If they make it home. Sharing is caring. Farmer Boys. Farm food ain't fast food.
Jumpers Jungle Family Fun Center is an indoor children's jump and party space in Las Vegas located at 2050 South Rainbow Boulevard. Kids of all ages can come and jump on our bouncers, race through the obstacle courses, speed down the mega slides, slam dunk into the basketball hoops, and much more. Are you looking for that perfect birthday party venue? Look no further. Jumpers Jungle has a party package that will fit your needs. Check out the open play schedule online at jumpersjungle.com or call 702-463-JUMP. It's time to jump your way to fun at Jumpers Jungle on the corner of Oakey and Rainbow.
The best choice for convenience, comfort, and value, My Place hotels are ideal for both short-term and long-term travelers. The rooms at My Place features pillow-top mattresses, microfiber bedding, and a variety of soft and firm pillows. All extended stay rooms offer their own kitchen, which includes a full-size refrigerator and a cooktop. On-site laundry facilities are also available for extended stays at pet-friendly My Place hotels. Book your stays online at myplacehotels.com. My Place Hotels, St. George and West Jordan, Utah. Make My Place your place.
KSHP North Las Vegas, 107.1 FM, 1400 AM, K29 6HP North Las Vegas, and online at kshp.com.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits. Pushing the Limits on a Thursday. Oh, yeah, a reminder. Tomorrow at Sapphire. I'll get to that in a moment. I want to tell you guys about my good friends at Sahara West Urgent and Primary Care. They're located at 6125 West Sarah Avenue. They'll help you out with anything, including, Chris Wynn might need the STD screening. I don't know. But I've got the testosterone therapy, and I got to tell you, man, it's working.
You're looking good, man.
Thank you. I
can
appreciate
tell.
that. Yeah. Good. Diesel over here. Located at 6125 West Sarah Avenue. You don't even need an appointment, but if you want to give them a call, 702-248-0554. You could also visit them online at SaharaWestUrgentCare.com. Check them out. Sahara West Urgent and Primary Care. We're also going to be at a nice gentleman's club, the only gentleman club's topless pool in all of Las Vegas. Of course, I'm talking about Sapphire. Great people over there, man. And we're broadcasting our show live out there tomorrow. You all are invited to come out.
So excited.
They give us a cabana. The drinks are flowing.
The weather's awesome.
Great food out there, too, by the way. And what about the eccentric group of celebrities that are going to be there tomorrow? I mean, Chris Wynn's favorite porn star, Evan Stone, who, by the way, is a great guy. He's extremely funny. Can't wait to interview him. Evan Stone, who is, by the way, dating Katie Morgan, who arguably is the biggest name in porn right now. And they live in Vegas, too. It's so awesome. So Evan will be there. I love Guns N' Roses. And one of my favorite musicians here in town from Guns N' Roses, DJ Ashba, will be joining us tomorrow. Very nice of him. John DiDomenico, who is probably world's best Trump impersonator, will be showing up, as well as my good friend Brett Raymer. Of course, you know him from the hit reality TV show Tanked. He might have some news to break on my show tomorrow as well. And Marcus Banks, former Mo. Did you ever coach against Marcus?
I don't believe so. I think he was in between my NBA playing and coaching.
Gotcha. Okay, but obviously a UNLV legend, so he'll be there tomorrow. We got former NBA players, we got porn stars, we got comedians, we got everybody. So I heard a rumor that Mo might show up. I don't know if that's true or not, with or without a Speedo. I don't know.
It might be, depending on if he can find a Speedo to fit the 7 foot, 300 pound.
Well, I don't think height has anything to do with that, but we can talk about that discussion a little bit later.
Everything's in proportion.
Okay, Fair enough. Too much information for me. But Paul Mokeski joining us in studio as he does every Thursday. Always love to get his perspective. The 12-year NBA veteran, 20-year coach. And it's Mo, it's good to see you. You're wearing that bright red collared shirt. You're dressing nice today.
UNLV red.
Yeah, I'm kind of like.
What's up with the red today, man?
I don't know. I just felt in a bright frame of mind this morning because I knew I was coming to see you guys. That's why.
Wow, that's definitely sarcasm at its finest. But all right, so Mo, I got to start with the big NBA story today, and I'm not going to be talking about a win or a loss. We'll get to that a little bit.
First, can I was listening to you guys coming in, and I'm not a political guy or whatever, but I am a logical guy and a pretty knowledgeable guy, and I just I haven't watched the whole town square, whatever the
town hall,
town square,
town whatever.
Coach Mo,
town square is on the Las Vegas Strip. Yeah.
Whatever that was, but I saw and I've seen comments that the interviewer, whoever she was, was kind of overpowered and overran, and you as an all-time interviewer and me as being interviewed a lot of times, I mean, you just can't let that happen. And I'll go back years ago, and it still sticks in my mind, the debate that Hillary Clinton had with Trump, where he was pacing behind her and kind of like in an attack mode, where if I'm Hillary Clinton, I stop everything and I turn around and I say, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" Go stand behind your podium so we can have a regular debate. Why you pay? I stopped that. I don't know why Hillary Clinton never did that, and it might have affected the whole outcome of that election.
I couldn't agree with you more. If I'm starting that town square yesterday, the first thing I would say is you need more restaurants in there. The second thing I would say is, when he started interrupting right away about the election, I would say, Mr. President, that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Stop talking, Mr. President. Eventually, he's going to stop talking after I
Right.
say it 8 times. And then I stop, and there's silence, and I say, here's what we're going to do. This is not the way we're going to start this. You're entitled to your opinions. But if you say something that is not factually accurate, I'm going to interrupt you. That's my job as the moderator. And don't interrupt me. Let me finish my statement and let me finish my questions, because right now you're doing a disservice to everybody in this room and you're doing a disservice to everybody watching at home. Knock it off, and we're going to start over again. Mr. President, you're not going to say for the rest of the show that you won the 2020 election, because there's no evidence of that. That is a lie, and now we are going to move on.
Yeah,
That is the way I would handle it.
Do you think that's going to put him in the right attitude to even want to have that conversation with you? I feel as though that he's an individual who's really big on having control. And if you try to dominate yourself over someone like him, it's going to make him push back even more.
As opposed to the way he treated her yesterday, no. He's always going to be Donald Trump, but if you put him in his place, I've also seen him laid back and quiet, like when he met the Obamas in the White House.
Like in court?
Yeah, like in court. If you put him in his place and let him know that you're the one in charge, as sick as his mind is, he will respect you more for that.
I feel like he respects those who are credible and have more authority. He doesn't look at CNN and the Caitlins and all the other reporters as people who have authority.
I completely 100% disagree with you. He sees people as credible as people that kiss his ass.
I just said that. That's what I just said.
But he
does
sees
CNN kiss his ass? No.
Right.
Do they have authority over his life?
That's not.
No.
But that's not looking at someone because they're credible. That's looking at someone because they kiss your ass, right?
But that's the same. I'm saying that's the same thing.
No.
That's what I just said. Was you don't look at somebody who isn't credible or somebody that has authority. And if you add the kissing ass part, you're not doing either one of those. Either one of those things to him.
To me, I'll give you an example of why I disagree with you. To me, authority and credibility, have nothing to do with one another or power, because he thinks people that are credible are like the Dinesh D'Souza's and Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan's, the people that
exactly. He thinks they're credible. We all give each other credibility in our own minds.
Right, but I understand.
We value each other, not the other person.
Understood, but here's where I disagree with you. It's not that he thinks they're credible. It's that he knows that they're going to agree with everything he does and kiss his ass.
Hashtag credible. Because I know that you're going to do what I need you to do.
I think
credibility comes from knowing that you're going to do what's right in their mind and you can back it up.
To me, credibility is someone that has a background and a resume.
A background in kissing your ass.
No. No, to me, that's not what the definition of credibility
is. Yeah, for you. I'm talking about Donald Trump.
Well, moving on to like in sports and basketball, which we will get back to. It's my fault for opening
That's all right.
Pandora's box. But, like in basketball, it's a theory that, if you're going to play a team that is full court pressing and high paced, you should do that to them.
Right.
If you're going to play a team that's very muscular and strong and going to attack you, you need to attack them the same way.
Right.
The same way with Trump. If you're talking to somebody that is, very demanding and very powerful, obviously the alpha, no matter what anybody else thinks, then you need to address him in that way. If you don't, then the other option is, in my opinion, as an interviewer, have a frickin' kill switch that you turn his mic off, and then that ends that. And he's either going to comply or he's going to walk away.
Well, that's another thing. I understand what Jamie is saying. It's just that Donald Trump just wants everybody around him to kiss his ass, and it's got nothing to do with authority.
Well, just look at
the way he is.
Just look at the history of how many people in the White House he hired and fired when they disagreed with him.
Right.
That's
exactly.
Sure.
So yesterday was the town square was a complete debacle. Anyway, we can
hashtag town square.
Yeah, put another movie theater in there with good seats.
Again, before we get to basketball, Mo, I'm taking a little vacation with Mo and a couple members of his family.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
We got a road trip coming up.
Yeah, we're going to Washington D.C. to meet Donald Trump. Yeah.
No,
we're not.
So Donald Trump and Chris Wynn are your two favorites.
Yeah, they both have similar physiques. Anyway, we'll move on now.
We're going to Laughlin with my two sons on the bro trip and staying at the beautiful Aquarius Hotel.
And the company that owns Aquarius, same company that owns Arizona Charlie's. We love gaming at their properties. They're wonderful people. Al DeLeon is awesome. And the people over there that you've worked with at Aquarius are just great people. They're second to none. My favorite local places to go play, and just really good people from management, Most of the dealers. There's a few I don't like, but most of the dealers. They're just wonderful people over there, and we really love going to their properties, and they treat us wonderful. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Anthony Davis before we get to the actual win-loss situation. So Anthony Davis takes a forearm. It wasn't an elbow. Close to the temple area. I watched the video, Mo, over and over again. And before we get to anything else, how he was wheeled off in a wheelchair. And by the way, he didn't get a concussion. He's cleared to play in Game 6.
Is that reported?
Yes,
okay,
100%.
I hadn't heard that.
100%.
Okay.
No concussion, cleared to play Game 6.
Yeah.
While I watched the video, I didn't see it as much of any abnormal contact that you would see on every single play in the playoffs. What did you see there?
Well, I saw the same thing, and on the replay you could see that he caught a forearm across the face.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because I know my sons are both have been, first responders in the police academy and stuff, and they know, and they've told me, if you hit someone in the temple at the right angle, no matter what the force is, you're going to mess them up. So I'll give him that possibly, but to overplay it like I think he did, I mean, it was another. Every time he lands, and we've talked about how hard he lands all the time, he grabs his face. There was another play a couple games ago where I think he got hit in the shoulder, but then when he landed on the ground, he grabbed his face. It's like, come on. And I understand the NBA's like that now. If you fall down and get some kind of contact, you'll get better response from the refs if you lay there and act like you're dead and hold your head and writhe around. That's what everybody does now. I think it's wrong.
Why is he doing that?
To get a flagrant 1, flagrant 2, whatever, because they can go back and look at that. And if it's a flagrant 1 or flagrant 2, I don't know who hit him. I think Looney hit him. I think, who's one of the most great rebounder, but not a confrontational guy. He did it by accident, but you could actually get him a technical. You could get him kicked out of the game or maybe suspended if the right scenario comes up.
Okay, so Mo, I agree with you. I think he overplayed what happened. I agree. And then let's remember that he was in a wheelchair, wheeled out of the arena into the locker room. Some people say he was a little wobbly. I don't know. If you want to be a little overly concerned, that's one thing. But now there's a caveat to this, and I want to play you the other side of this. We agree so far. Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal go on TNT.
Yep.
And listen, I think they're good commentators because they're personalities, and obviously they were great Hall of Fame players. And I enjoy listening to them and Kenny Smith. But this was a little bit uncomfortable. They're talking about Anthony Davis, or at least Kenny Smith starts talking about Anthony Davis.
Sideways, yeah.
Yeah, and then Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley just start laughing, and we know what they're laughing about. They're laughing about Anthony Davis and the whole wheelchair situation. And so have a listen to this, and then we'll talk about it.
But they're making up something else they're laughing
They're
at.
lying about what they're laughing about. Have a listen to this.
Yep.
Game 6. These guys, man. I know what they're laughing about.
I think I do too, but what are you laughing about?
You know what they're laughing at. I'm laughing at Chuck. I know what they're laughing at. You understand? Shaq is over there crumbling up paper. That's why I was laughing. That's not what I'm going about. I'm laughing at Chuck.
Come on, tell the truth.
They understand. Come on, man. Stop it, man. Stop it. Ernie, don't let us go there. Because if we go there, it'll never stop. It'll never stop. Ernie, we need to go to that next game quickly.
No, we don't.
Oh, man. I'm laughing at Chuck.
Well, give me your takeaway from the game, Chuckster.
There's nothing points in the first half. You're not kidding. What are you doing? I'm fixing my seat. I'm fixing my seat. What is Kenny doing? I'm fixing my seat. What? I did not do that. You're fixing your seat. I did not do that. Fixing my seat.
Man, guys, come on now.
Hey, come on, man. I'm just saying, nothing surprised me. They gave up 70 points in the first half.
All right, so then they go on talking about the game. So Ernie Johnson, to me, is the utmost professional, and
Absolutely.
I trust him.
He's one of the best ever.
And you could tell just by looking at his facial expressions, and towards the end, they're like, guys, come on. And basically what that means, and what Ernie's trying to tell them in so many words is, you guys are being unprofessional. You're acting like 10-year-olds. Knock it off. Our job is to talk about the game. We could have fun. We could have a good time, and they do. But even Ernie Johnson was like, guys, this is a little over the top.
Well, let's go background on Ernie Johnson then, right? So if you know the backstory of Ernie Johnson, he had a son that I'm not sure exactly what his disease was, but couldn't take care of himself.
Right.
So Ernie Johnson brushed his son's teeth, shaved his son's face, took his son everywhere, and his son was in a wheelchair for most of his life. And his son just passed away this year, by the way. So I can just see and feel Ernie's angst about what's going on now. It's kind of funny. It's fun to, but come on, there's kind of a line too, and I could see it in Ernie's face, because if you know the background of Ernie's family and his son that passed away, you know where he's going to in his head.
So Mo, I didn't know that, and that even not knowing that, I can still understand why Ernie Johnson would get upset.
If you want to see the background of Ernie Johnson, go to ESPN 30 for 30. They did a special on him and his son, and every day waking up, and every day taking care of his son, and his son loved cars, so he would take him to the big car show. And if you plug that in with what was going on in that scenario, it's almost heartbreaking for Ernie.
And I didn't know that happened to him. That's horrible that he lost his son. It's terrible. I empathize with him, and that would make him even more upset, which is understandable, by the way. Here's my take, and then I want to know what your opinion is. I believe that you can call Anthony Davis soft. You can talk about what we just talked about in a professional manner and say he overhyped it a little bit. Here's why I think he did that. Here's what I think happened. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. But to laugh hysterically like a bunch of 8-year-olds, like the way Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley did, I don't mind if you're laughing and somebody makes a funny joke. But in this instance, the way they did it, I thought was unprofessional and inappropriate. If you think Anthony Davis overhyped his injury, then go ahead and say that and explain why you feel that way. But don't joke around about it. I just thought it was unprofessional, and I think they should be suspended for their behavior. I thought it was inappropriate. Kenny Smith didn't do anything wrong. It was Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal who should know better. The reason why they're on that show is not because they were Hall of Fame basketball players and had great careers.
That's the reason how they got it.
I was going to say the reason why Charles Barkley got the gig is because he punched Mo in a game. That's what I was going to say.
Can I ask this, though? I'm not saying that you all have ever had the same reaction as those moderators and Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. However, you guys have also made light of people's injuries before. What's the true difference?
Well, first of all, we're not laughing about an injury. We're not joking around about it like it's great. And we're also not mocking somebody for getting hurt. We're criticizing somebody and saying...
But I don't see the difference, personally, as an individual.
So you don't
Whether you laughed at me or you
Okay.
criticized me, I would take it the same way.
Okay, so what me and Mo did 10 minutes ago, we were giving some criticism to Anthony Davis because we thought he overhyped it a little bit. But you
That's the
can't.
same thing as laughing.
So you think that's the same thing
I'll
as
give you my personal opinion.
Right, so I'm asking you. You
Yeah.
think that what we were
whether
just
you
doing?
laughed at me or whether you said that my injury was I overhyped my injury, I would feel the exact same way. We were talking about I think 2 days ago now. If you would have called me soft because of that injury or how I responded, if you would have laughed at me, or if you told me I overhyped myself,
Yeah.
I would have laughed. I would have been upset and I would have
Yeah.
felt the same exact way.
So Mo, try to explain to Jamie what the difference is between what we're doing and what Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley
I
is doing.
personally see a difference as it pertains to action. The outcome, though, and how it'll make a person feel, I don't see the difference.
Well, I think I disagree, and I think there definitely is a difference for sure of pointing out someone that's you think is soft and laughing at them about what happened to them is two totally different things, in my opinion. And and here's the other insight, because I've been there. I've had concussions. I've been taken off the court in the stretcher. I've had my wife had to come back and see how I was. So, and if in my past history, if I was a soft player, which I wasn't, and people said, hey, there he is soft again. Okay, that's a legitimate opinion of you. But if you're laughing at me getting taken off on a stretcher, that's past the line, big time, in my opinion.
How come? Somebody calling you soft because you got taken off the court on the stretcher versus laughing at you?
No, he's calling me soft for what I did in my past history, right? And calling me a soft player. Okay, you think I'm a soft player? That's fine. But laughing at me if I'm getting taken off the court stretcher, to me, it's totally, totally different.
I personally believe that words matter, and I think that a lot of things carry weight. If you're talking about, hey, somebody called you soft and they're criticizing the way you play and the way you react to injuries, and also laughing, I personally believe that one is a more severe action, but they lead to the same result. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
I'm not saying that
they could lead to, but they're totally different, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree.
And
Yeah.
here's another thing that people have no idea, right? I'm gonna tell you. So when he got his bell rung, that's what we used to call it, right? And when he got his bell rung and he was a little shaky coming off the court, they took him to the bench, and a trainer and a doctor and a surgeon will go look at him and they'll evaluate him. Hey, listen, we need to get him back in the locker room to evaluate him more. Okay, that's the process. So now on the way from the bench to the locker room, it's different in different stadiums, arenas, but it's a distance usually. So what they're going to do is they're going to take you off and they're going to say, hey, you need to sit in this wheelchair, and we're going to take you there. Okay. So now as a player, if they, you can sit in the wheelchair and get taken off. Fine, great. That's your your decision. And I think this is what teed off Shaq and Barkley is. Like, if they did that to me, I would have pushed them away and said, I'm walking to the locker room. Put the damn wheelchair away. I'm walking to the locker room. Then you can evaluate me, because that's the kind of player I was. So I think that's what set them off a little bit. But you're right. What they did was not right. But I think that is totally different than all the thousands of reporters that have called him soft in the past.
Do you think that Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley should be suspended or reprimanded for their behavior?
I don't know. I mean, that, and I hate this because, like the Joker in that scenario and the other thing where he forearmed a owner/fan, he was on the court, so that's the drop off. If he was in the stands, different. And then fan, he flopped, because he played with Michigan State or whatever. But to fine the Joker $25,000 is a freaking joke. That's for like saying, hey, Mo, you just said something on the radio and you're fined 50 cents. I mean, come on, man. So if they're going to fine, I don't think that it's suspendable, but if they're going to fine them, I mean, they both make over $10 million a year.
Right. Brian, do you believe they deserve sensitivity training as well?
No. It's just that sensitivity training isn't going to do anything. It's just they know what they did was wrong.
What will be done? What's a good solution other than being fined?
I think they should be suspended.
Okay. What do you think that does, though?
It says you better not do it again or you're going to be fired next time.
So I personally believe that when we look at solutions for people who do things that are disrespectful to others, whether it may be harmful to their emotions or physical or just their ethnicity, I personally believe that when you're saying, hey, we're just going to suspend you, we're going to take money away from you, you're saying, hey, I'm reprimanding you for doing this. Don't do it again, but not teaching you why what you did was wrong.
So here's where I think we disagree again. I can guarantee you Anthony Davis could give two craps what Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley does on TNT. He's making
because they're not Westbrook.
Right. He's making his $50 million a year. He doesn't care what fans say. He doesn't care what people like me say. He certainly doesn't care what people like Charles Barkley said. So this isn't about Anthony Davis and his feelings, because I guarantee he doesn't care. He's a big boy. He's one of the top players in the league. It doesn't bother him. He's
heard it all before.
Right. He's heard it all before. What I am specifically talking about is professionalism when you're a broadcaster. Professionalism when you're on one of the highest rated sports shows in the land. They've won plenty of awards, by the way, TNT, for this show. This can't happen if you're a professional broadcaster. Just like I say, you can't go on a network if you're a broadcaster and say the Dominion voting machines are why Donald Trump lost the election. It's why Fox News was, different situation, but you have to be professional. There's nothing wrong with joking around. There's nothing wrong with calling Russell Westbrook because nobody's injured there. You're just saying the guy can't shoot and you're mocking him. This is about an injury and somebody that was wheeled off the court. Agree or disagree with it, laughing about that, especially when you're working with a guy who I didn't even know, Ernie Johnson, lost his son, who was in a wheelchair. It's beyond repugnant, and they need to be punished for that. This doesn't have anything to do with Anthony Davis. It has to do with broadcasting and having some standards.
Let me just say this. I completely agree with you on that, and I didn't disagree with you on that in general. I personally am saying that when you look at when you're creating culture, whether you're laughing at somebody or calling somebody soft or you are criticizing somebody about their emotions or how they portray themselves when they're hurt, that all creates the culture to let what happened recently happen. If you're always calling somebody soft for their injuries, making fun of people because of their injuries, telling people what they should and should not do, hey, you need to grow up and get some balls and all the other great stuff, you make people lead into the actions like what Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal did. And if you're going to personally reprimand them, I think you should also make it a culture thing and a protocol thing where we need to start focusing more on being okay with people who are hurt.
So again, I'll let Mo respond. I just want to say something real quickly, and again, this is why I disagree. This has been going on since the NBA started, where players have called other players soft, coaches have called players soft, commentators and journalists have called players soft. And I don't remember a time in broadcasting where I heard people laughing for a minute and a half or 2 minutes like school children about an injury.
This is what Coach did.
Well, it's been going on for 80 years.
And it led to this. He made people believe that because they have power in their spaces of authority, they could do that.
I don't agree with you.
Which is fine. We're going to have to agree to disagree,
yeah, I don't
but
think
I'm
that
telling you what
I
I
don't think
know
that
to
has
be
anything to do
true.
with it. What do you think?
Well, I think I think it's part of the culture already, whether it's right or wrong, and I think they should fix that culture. But it's not the league; it's TNT, because that's their program, that's their billion-dollar business, and I do believe that a fine, suspension, whatever it is, needs to be not $50,000. That's a joke. It needs to be $500,000, $1 million. To say, this is it. Okay, you make $10 million, I'm gonna take $1 million. If you do it again, you're fired. And I think as a corporation, they should have some training in there, which I'm sure they've gotten.
I agree.
Years and years they've gotten.
But a lot of, you should know this, and also Brian, I'm sure you know this. Even working in corporate, a lot of these trainings we just click through them,
Absolutely.
or even if they're in
No
person,
question.
they're like, "Hey, we're just gonna get this over with. We're on our phones, and not really paying attention. We're laughing through it." So this is why I said yesterday with Brian that I truly believe that in these situations we need to have panel discussions. I personally believe when you're talking about an individual who you actually hurt, you need to look that person in the face and have that conversation with them. A lot of these individuals won't ever say these things or do these things in the face of the person that they're affecting.
Yeah, that's the way of our culture, like you say. Anybody can say anything on the phone or Instagram or whatever they want to do, and there's no repercussions, and that's where our society is going. The fact is, guess what? Those two guys will come face to face with Anthony Davis.
They will.
In the next week, they will be face to face with him. And
Eventually they will.
Yeah, and they're going to either address it or not address it. And I agree, too. So you make Charles and Shaq go to training, and, they're just going to,
go through the motions.
They go through emotions. But you need to still make an attempt, to touch that.
But the
player.
reason why Charles Barkley and Shaq are there, not just because they were great players, it's because they're personalities.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you take that a little bit too far. Charles Barkley is a personality. He says things that people don't agree with. I remember there was a whole controversy, I think, if you recall, I forgot what city it was. I don't even remember, where he said the women were fat and ugly. Obviously you can't
Indiana, I
make...
think.
Yeah, probably Indiana. I don't remember. But, and he took a lot of flack for saying that.
He had a whole marketing, I'm not your role model.
Right.
He had whole commercials
He also threw somebody through a window. So
in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
In Milwaukee. I know the guy it was. But anyway. Here's how I think the most impact for this situation would be, and I'm not sure it didn't happen or not. The most impact on Charles and Shaq right now would be Ernie Johnson after the show getting them in a room and saying, "Listen, guys, that's not professional. And that's not the way we do things. And, oh, by the way, remember my son that you met has passed away and was in a wheelchair."
Right.
That would be impactful to them.
And I believe Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley, being the people they are, from what I've heard from people that know them personally, they would apologize.
Absolutely, they
because I think they're decent human beings.
Yes,
I don't
are.
think Charles Barkley's a bad guy. I don't think Shaq is a bad guy.
Charles punched me, and I don't think he's a bad guy. And I know Shaq isn't.
Yeah.
Just see his demeanor, and he lives here in Vegas, and see what he does.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that would be the best way to rectify this situation. Listen, Charles has said some stupid things on the air before that I don't agree with. Some things I agree with. Example. 10 years ago, he said they were building golf courses because they're racist, anti-Tiger Woods. They were building golf courses, making them longer. Charles had no idea what he was talking about because Tiger was never the longest hitter on the PGA Tour. Wasn't even close, by the way. Tiger hit it a long way in his prime, but he was never the longest hitter on tour. So Charles will make statements like that are controversial, and he's wrong. But this is a different kind of wrong. So I agree. All right,
and to top it off, then, if Ernie would do that, and then the next game, Charles and Shaq aren't there, and then Ernie, who is over there? I don't know, whoever, says, "Listen, this went too far, and as at TNT we don't allow this, and this is why they're not here. They will be back." And I guarantee both those guys would make an apology and an announcement.
I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if it already has happened. If it has, we probably won't know about it. but I couldn't agree with you more. And I hope that Ernie Johnson had that conversation with them.
I hope so too.
Because
Ernie's one of the best guys I've ever met, by the way.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude, and he had cancer too, right? He was a cancer survivor.
Twice.
Yeah, it was like in his jaw or something.
Someone watching the show pointed it out.
Yeah,
early on. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So he's had a tough life,
and
I think he's very good at what he does.
He's
too.
excellent.
Yeah, so I hope he had that conversation. Very disrespectful.
He's one
to
of
him.
the old guys that can keep that group in check.
Yeah, that's
pretty
true.
much most of the 80% of the time.
And he mixes in with them very well.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
knows when to talk and when not to talk, which is a skill. We were talking about the town square yesterday. Anyway, I'm sorry. I was making another joke. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We have to talk a little bit. No, it's not going to be about Mo possibly in a Speedo tomorrow. I do want to talk about the actual game itself last night.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about Phoenix, Denver Nuggets. I want to talk about the Celtics doozer at home against the Philadelphia 76ers. We want to talk Miami, New York. There's a lot of exciting series right now to talk about in both the Western and Eastern Conference, and we're going to get Mo's picks. And I don't know if he's going to be charging for his picks today, but we'll find out. All right, we'll take
Are we signing a card live on air?
I don't know. I want a percentage because I've been giving out winners too. I did pick the Lakers to win. They haven't won the series yet, but we'll see. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Guinn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well. So I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Guinn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines beware. Go Bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. Guests can purchase affordable day bed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though? Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now. For more info, visit sapphirepoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams, treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
Freddy's Frozen
Shopping
Custard
is always easy with the Radio Shopping Show. Whether it's shopping during any one of our live shows right here on AM 1400 or listening live on the KSHP app, you can always call in at 702-221-7283 to pick up great deals with your favorite host. Or shop 24/7 at kshp.com. Go to kshp.com and select Shopper's Guide to browse hundreds of businesses featured on the show. Place your order online and we'll have it shipped right to your front door. With so many possibilities, it's hard not to shop.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Thursday. Just another quick reminder, we are going to be broadcasting live at Sapphire Gentlemen's Club, the pool, the topless pool. How cool is that? We're going to be there tomorrow broadcasting live. We've got some very special guests, including adult film star Evan Stone, fantastic musician, formerly of Guns N' Roses, DJ Ashba is going to be dropping by, John DiDomenico, very, very funny comedian will be there, an impersonator. My good friend Brett Raymer from the hit TV reality show Tanked will be there. UNLV legend and NBA veteran Marcus Banks will be there. The Vegas line on whether Paul Mokeski will be there is 2-1. Yes. Right now it's 2-1. That laugh just made it 3-1. The odds have now changed again. I don't know.
The book in Vegas has changed 15 days.
In-game wagering on whether
by hour.
in-game wagering on whether Paul Mokeski will be showing up at Sapphire.
And then in the Speedo it's 25-1.
20. Really? I was going to put it at like 50-1. So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there's a chance.
I'll tell you a place we're definitely going to be hitting up, Speedo or not. I go there all the time. I love it. It's my favorite gaming bar in town, Jackson's Bar and Grill. It's located at Flamingo and Jones, and they got some great promos, Mo. I don't know. I'm going to explain these to you because
Yes,
I don't
please.
think you're aware of them.
No.
Every
if
Wednesday,
any of them involve free play, I'm
they
keen.
do.
Yeah.
So every Wednesday, if you earn, you know how you hit a 4 of a kind in a lot of these places, do you get to spin the wheel?
Yep.
Well, if you earn just 200 points, which is like nothing, you get to spin the wheel with a chance to win up to $3,000.
Nice.
And then if you get another 300 points, you get to spin the wheel again.
Nice.
So 2 chances at it. Every Wednesday they do that. And then on Friday, this is my favorite promotion. On Friday, if you earn 1,500 points, that's all. 1,500 is not a lot. The next day, you're going to get $100 in free play on your card. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Jackson's Bar and Grill. Great food, great atmosphere, great chicken Alfredo. I know Mo can attest to that.
Fettuccine Alfredo.
Fettuccine Alfredo, that's
killer.
right. Yeah, it's really good. Jackson's Bar and Grill. Check them out. Tell them I sent you. All right, Mo, let's talk a little bit about some of the series. Let's start with Lakers Golden State. Let's not bring up the injury to Anthony Davis, but how well he's been. And let's start with the Warriors, too. And I got to tell you, Mo, Klay Thompson, I think he's really been awful. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Klay Thompson has been shooting really bad. And they need his offense, I think, to win this series. What do you make of that?
Yeah, and I think he struggled most of the year, and then he struggled in the Sacramento series, if you remember. In Game 7, he was 1 for 11 in the first half and came through and hit some big threes. They need him to step up because in the last game that they won, you look at Wiggins that stepped up and had 25 points, but even more importantly that I think part of it is because his coach Izzo was in the stands that day. You know, Draymond Green had 20 points, which he usually gets about 10, and 10 rebounds. So he stepped up offensively, and I think part of that is because Klay was struggling. He had to. So, you know, in a series, in all these series, we could talk about, and I believe what Charles and Shaq have said in the past because they were the stars of their team, and for the most part, stars will show up. And the backup guys and role guys are the ones that are going to win or lose that series. Mm-hmm. And the backup players and role players play better at home than they do on the road for the most part. And I think that's huge, you know, for all these series, but especially the Lakers, because part of it is Anthony Davis. How well is he going to be? Because they need his scoring, but more than that, they need his shot blocking and defense. And the way he's been covering, he's switched on Steph Curry and keeping him in front of him. That's huge.
Agree.
And a lot depends on if he's going to play and what degree he's at.
No question. At the beginning of this series, I did pick the Lakers to win. They were a dog at plus 130, depending on where you went. And the reason why is I just thought Golden State took too much out of them to beat Sacramento. Series isn't over. It's 3-2, right? I did say the X factor was Anthony Davis. That's a nightmare matchup for anybody, let alone Looney and the Golden State Warriors. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, here's in a 7-game series too, so it's 3-2.
Yep.
Right. So they're going back to LA, and here's the switch on stuff. Right. Everyone thinks the pressure's on Golden State because if they win, obviously they lose. However, really psychologically, if you're the home team and a team like the Warriors is coming in, the pressure's on you to win. Even though you have 2 chances to win one game, you still don't want to go back into Golden State. So really, when it gets tight, at some point the Warriors are going to say, "What the hell? We're either going to go home or we're going to let it fly, and we're going to win this thing." And the opposite goes on with the Lakers is, man, if we lose this thing, we got to go back to Golden State. So psychologically, things shift, and they'll shift during that game. The thing that the Lakers have is they have LeBron James. And LeBron James is 38 years old. He's playing like he's 28, and he's a great player. He's still a great player, but what he has is mental toughness. He's been there, done that, every scenario, and he can help his team get through that. If there's a question when people are sitting on the bench, like the New York Knicks had, they almost threw away that game because they were freaking out. He can calm them down and say, "Listen, here's what we're going to do. This is what happened."
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see what happens here in Game 6, but it's been a very entertaining series. We thought it would be, and we'll see if Golden State can get one more to push it to 7 games. Let's go on the other side of the Western Conference, the Phoenix Suns and the Denver Nuggets. A lot of drama in this series, including the owner of the Phoenix Suns getting into a little squabble with Jokic, who pushes him, and then the next game, Jokic, or the game after, or was it the next game? I think it actually was the next game where Jokic playfully gives him the ball and shoot around, and they kind of shake hands and embrace. So not a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Not a big deal to me.
Yeah, and both of them, even the owner, don't suspend. This is ridiculous. And
right.
In the heat of the battle, and it was funny that the owner, because he was a walk-on at Michigan State, flopped, and the guy's a billionaire, and the Joker plays at a high level of intensity. The owner is just actually lucky that the Joker's brothers weren't in the stands. 'Cause those guys are freaking crazy. Dudes. They're big dudes, and they're crazy. They've had some.
They look like the security in the movie Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Exactly.
That's what they look like. But this has been an entertaining series with a lot of drama. Of course, Chris Paul getting hurt. It seems like we see a different Kevin Durant every game. Where one game he can't miss and the next game he struggles. He's a big part of their offense. Booker has been fantastic. It's been a fun series, and Jokic proving why he was the MVP. He's just unstoppable at times. But this has been a very exciting, entertaining series.
Yeah, I mean, Booker is arguably one of the best players in these playoffs so far, and everybody says that. And he's averaging 35, 5, and 8 assists.
Unbelievable.
Now look at the Joker, who's averaging 35, 14 rebounds, and 10 assists. That's phenomenal. That's
a center averaging 10 assists a game. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, that's unbelievable, and does it in slow motion. But like I said before, I think if the Suns are healthy and they have their starters intact, they have a chance. Denver is deeper, and they're showing that. And, we had this conversation before. If Chris Paul is out and they picked up the pace and won 2 games in Phoenix, but then they go into Denver, Chris Paul is still out, which is actually a good psychological thing to play because if they win, that's great. But if they lose, now they can go back to Phoenix and Chris Paul plays, adds a different dimension to that game.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think this is Chris Paul's last chance to win a championship.
I agree.
His body's banged up. He's prone to injury. Some people made the argument they're a better team without him on the floor. I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, for 2 games they were, for 1 game they weren't.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, yes and no. Chris Paul's Chris Paul. This is his last chance. I'm hoping that this series goes 7 because I think it'd be great. I'm hoping every series goes 7.
Yeah, me too.
Let's go to the Eastern Conference and my Boston Celtics, Mo. All due respect to your Milwaukee Bucks, but condolences. But
well, maybe I'll be giving you condolences.
Yeah, well, I was really disappointed with the way the Celtics played in Game 5. Like, really disappointed. This is probably Jaylen Brown's last year in Boston. I say probably. You never know what happens, but probably his last year in Boston. Jaylen Brown is a huge part of this basketball team. But I got to be honest with you. The guy that I've been most unimpressed with at times is Mr. Tatum. We see the improvements he made in the offseason. He's more physical, and he's a phenomenal player. We all know that. He has not come up once again big when his team has needed him the most. We saw that in the NBA Finals last year. I love Jason Tatum. He's still very young. He's an all-star. He's one of the most prolific scorers in the world. But it seems to me, in the fourth quarter, in the biggest of situations, he's not aggressive. He's not, like, watch Steph Curry and the way he moves without the ball. He wants the ball. He demands the ball. Tatum, at times, is just not that guy in the playoffs in the fourth quarter. And that's, to me, one of the reasons why the Celtics are down in this series.
Yeah, I mean, losing at home, and when you're a Celtic, it's got to be just devastating.
Yeah.
And the way they lost was, that game was never in doubt pretty much. Mm-hmm. Part of that is Philly and Embiid, who a knee was bothering him. In the last couple of games, they were blocking Embiid's shots. He couldn't get it off. And couldn't get a shot.
And
off.
Harden. Harden's been phenomenal.
Yeah, and now he comes up with 33 and 9, and his
phenomenal.
knees feeling better.
Yeah.
But here, Tatum struggled in the fourth quarter. Brown, but they're coming through. Like Tatum had 36, Brown had 24. But when I talk about role players, this is what I mean. Horford, 0 points. Williams, 0 points. Derek White, 7 points. And Brogdon, who had 19 points last game, 7 points.
You're right.
So that's what really shines in that those guys couldn't step up and help them get over the hump.
And
now,
James Harden's been let's go back to Game 4, shall we? Before we, I'm not even talking about Game 5. Harden had to make a buzzer beater to get. Now, listen, that shouldn't have happened. Philadelphia was up the entire game, but Harden has to hit basically a buzzer beater to get the game into overtime, and then he hits another buzzer beater to win in overtime. James Harden, to me, is doing things in the playoffs now that we're not accustomed to watching him do. We know how great of a player he is, the scorer that he is, but he is making not only a lot of shots, but clutch shots in the playoffs to help his team win. I really think you have to give James Harden a ton of credit in this series.
He's playing the way I wish he would have played 10 years ago.
In Houston.
Yeah. 10 years ago. But so he won that other game scoring, 43? Right?
Yep.
He won this game by scoring 17 and 10 assists. Right. So that, to me, is a guy adjusting his game to what's going on.
He has matured. I think we're seeing it in the making in the last year. We have seen James Harden, in my opinion, mature into the best player he is right now. Not only is he a guy that is hitting clutch shots, but what you just said, he's doing what it takes to find a way for his team to win. And Boston is a very good basketball team.
Very good.
And I'm very impressed with James Harden. He's taken this team on his shoulders. Remember what I told you after Game 1? He hit another big shot in Game 1, right? A buzzer beater in Game 1. And the team was celebrating, and it caught on a mic. He said, "What the F is wrong with you guys? This is only one game." And I said, that is the maturity of James Harden, who would have never made that statement 10 years ago. And the way he's played has proved that.
And here's the other thing that's going on in this series. People need to listen. Doc Rivers is still one of the best coaches in the league, no matter what people said about him in the last 2 years. He has the best adjustments, the best ATOs after timeout plays, and he is out-coaching the rookie coach at the other end in the Boston Celtics. Because if we remember, let's rewind it, the coach that got them to the finals last year was fired from the Boston Celtics, and the assistant took over and doing a good job, but in the hardest time trying to get to the East Finals, he is being out-coached by Doc Rivers.
Yeah, no question. So, again, we'll see if this series goes 7. I mean, you never know what's going to happen.
I hope they all do like you.
I know. Last series, your thoughts on Miami, New York? What are your thoughts on this series?
Well, I think, Miami is a better team. Like we talked earlier in the year, months ago, how I thought Miami's roster was right up there with anybody, but then they finished 8th. But then when it came to it, they beat my Milwaukee Bucks, who had the best. They were ranked number 1, and now they're showing how good they are and can be, even though one of their best players is hurt. But Duncan's stepping up for him.
Yeah.
But I just like that the Knicks are in the second round. They're being competitive. They almost panicked and give that game away last night in New York. And now going to Miami, I think this series is probably over.
Most likely, I agree with you.
But I would love a Game 7 in this one, too.
As would I. But I'm going to say it right now, as I've said off the air to you, to Jamie, to a lot of people. While I'm not a big LeBron James guy, and I've never put him in my top 5, let alone even close to the best player of all time, I'm going to tell you, if they win an NBA championship this year at 38 years old, what he's doing right now is pretty much it's unbelievable. And I got to tell Marcus Banks tomorrow, I'm definitely it's a start. I'm not saying he's the best player of all time, but I think I got to put him in the top 5 if he wins a championship
top
this year.
10. I would give 10.
Not top 5 yet.
No, but I don't put anybody in top 5. I think there's top 10. I don't think you can eliminate.
Will Chamberlain is your best player of all time.
Yeah, but okay, so you got Wilt, then you have Bird. Then
Would
you
you
have
put Magic in there? Michael Jordan.
Absolutely. Then you got Jordan. Then you got Russell. Then you got.
You would put Bird ahead of Jordan?
You got Kobe. I'm
okay.
I'm
You're just
talking
going
about top 10.
Top 10, okay.
You know, then you got Kobe.
Yeah.
You know, then you got LeBron. That's 7 right there.
Where's your Kurt Rambis?
He's right behind me. But here's another thing about LeBron. I mean, you know, physically and all that stuff and all the money, you know, he spends but mentally what he had to go through this year.
Yeah.
The first 3 months of that season, any other guy would have just quit. I don't want to do this anymore. Forget it.
But I give Palenka a lot of credit too.
He made
the
right
acquisitions that he made. Was it 3 or 4 months ago?
Yep.
I think were phenomenal, and I think arguably the best decisions that a GM has made across the league. You could make that argument.
Yeah, I agree with that. However, he did make the decisions that got him in that situation.
Westbrook, I'm not so sure. I think that was more a LeBron.
Well, it is what it is, but then all these are LeBron too. But he was in there.
You're right.
So, I mean.
But he's made up for it because now he's put the LA Lakers as a championship.
He saved his career.
He did. A solidified championship contender. You got to give him credit, and you're going to have to give. Listen, I'm not saying it yet. This Golden State's a feisty group. I like the way Draymond Green played. He was
I think if the Lakers get through, they can beat Phoenix. They can't beat Denver. That's my
really.
opinion. Yeah.
You don't think they beat Denver? See, I disagree with you. I think they can beat Denver. Yeah. But all right, maybe I'll do a friendly wager.
I don't know who's going to guard Joker.
I'll tell you what. If that happens, that series happens. If you lose, you're in a Speedo. If I lose, I'm in a Speedo. What do you think?
I'm not making that bet.
See, we're all losers.
Just not lose.
Yeah, we're all,
that is a complete lose-lose.
Yes, please just don't lose. Neither one of you.
I'll tell you what. Denver is hoping that the Lakers win because they'd rather have AD guard Joker than Ayton.
That is true. Well, Jamie, Mo, thank you so much for being here as always. Jamie, we're gonna have some fun tomorrow at Sapphire. Yes, we're gonna have a good time tomorrow. Jamie will be there, not in a Speedo, neither will I.
I actually will tomorrow.
I don't want
tomorrow
the women.
I'm actually gonna be in a Speedo.
I don't want the women to.
They're gonna enjoy me in a
get
Speedo.
scared.
They're gonna really enjoy me in a Speedo.
But we got some great guests tomorrow as well. Of course, Mo is invited if you'd like to come in a Speedo or not. Great food, great atmosphere. I recommend it.
I'm gonna pop in sometime.
I hope you do.
I'm super excited.
I hope you do.
Security might stop me at the door.
Yeah. I'm sorry, sir. You're too tall. You're too tall, sir. You have to be under 7 feet to be here. But anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. We will see you at the Sapphire pool where we'll be broadcasting live tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
Peace out.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn?